I hope everyone's having a great and safe day, so we're going to go over the most important stimulus news first. I know we had all had wishes for the crisis to be completely gone by now. Well, did you know that President Biden's spending bill will provide millions of dollars to American families, all through stimulus relief money? There's actually some new programs that will actually help you claim some extra stimulus cash. So, senior citizens, folks, have been hurt hard by the crisis. But the really good news is that starting this year, Social Security recipients are going to experience the biggest increase in checks of the last 40 years. They will be the first payments to have the 5.9% COLA increase included in them. Many have seen the rise so high due to the fast inflation rate, which has increased 5.4% since the month of September. As a result of this, the increase raised the average Social Security check a total of $92, which brings it up to around $1,700 per month. Now, a big question is, when will eligible Americans be receiving this boost? Well, to those who wonder when they are getting their Social Security payments, all the first checks for this year have been sent on January 12th, for any person whose birthday is between the 1st and 10th. Any person whose birthday is between 11th and 20th will get their checks on the 19th. So, stimulus checks were sent out. And if your birthday is on the 21st and the 26th, through the 26th, then you should also be expecting to receive your stimulus payment very soon. Now, there's also a big nonpartisan advocacy group it's called the Senior Citizens League. It's urging Congress to send those receiving Social Security additional stimulus money. In a letter, the advocacy group's chairman, Rick Delaney, implored leaders in Congress to approve a one-off $1,400 Social Security stimulus payment, just for the seniors. The campaign began before the announcement of the 5.9% COLA increase. It has continued after reports from thousands of seniors that they said they were experiencing extreme hardship. Researchers also said that they're with the Senior Citizens League and have found that the cost for seniors have outpaced the cost of the COLA. While over the last 21 years, COLAs have raised Social Security benefits by 55%, the cost for housing and healthcare increased by 118% to 145%, and the Center on Medicare and Medicaid announced a 14.5% increase in the price of Medicare premium. With all this information, it's definitely necessary and pretty clear as day that a stimulus check should be sent out. Thank you again for your support.
Registration. This bill also ends partisan gerrymandering and roots out the undue influence of special interest money in buying election. Imagine that. Imagine that. We would actually know the names of billionaires who put huge amounts of money into super PACs that buy election. What a terrible thing. We'd actually know who these people are. This bill would also provide increased protection in the voting process for voters with disabilities, the military, overseas voters, and underserved communities, and much, much more. This is a very significant piece of legislation. Now, why would anybody be opposed to it? Why, in a nation that has a history of denying the vote to African Americans, denying the vote to Native Americans, denying the vote to women, denying the vote to low-income whites, why would any fair-minded person be in opposition to make it easier for all citizens to vote? That's what I understood when I went to elementary school. You know, you play by the rules, you do your best, sometimes you win, and sometimes you lose. That's the process. But no one ever told me that what politics is about is working overtime to try to prevent people from voting just because they might vote against you. Our job should be to increase voter turnout, make it easier for people to participate, which is what this legislation does. I want this country to have the highest voter turnout of any nation on earth, not one of the lowest. But let's be clear. This enormously important bill, a bill to protect the foundations of American democracy, will fail. It will fail because, according to Senate rules, it will require 60 votes to pass, and in a 50-50 Senate, not one Republican will vote for it. It will likely get 50 votes, which, with the Vice President casting the tie-breaking vote, would be enough to pass this legislation under majority rule. It will not get 60 votes. All of which brings us to the second vote, which is really the most important vote of the day. That vote will determine whether anything we discuss today, whether any of the speeches that we give, any of the points that we actually make will in fact become law. And that is the vote to change Senate rules and establish a talking filibuster, a process which gives the minority an enormous amount of time to object to legislation and voice their concerns. The minority, whether it is a Democratic minority or a Republican minority, would have days and days and days to slow the process down, to rally the American people around their ideas. But they would not have forever. At the end of the time allotted, a majority vote would prevail, which in my view is what a democratic society is all about. Is changing the Senate rules a radical idea? Oh my God, first time in history we're about to do it. Never been done before? Oh, well, really not quite. No, as every member of the Senate knows, the rules get changed on a fairly regular basis. Nothing radical about it. Just a few months ago, in order to raise the debt ceiling and prevent our government from defaulting on its loans, the rules were changed so that a 50-vote majority would prevail. We changed the rules appropriately, and we prevented a default and a massive worldwide depression. Just a few years ago, my Republican colleagues who were so adamantly against changing rules, well, my goodness, they changed the Senate rules to allow 50 votes to confirm the president's nominees to the Supreme Court. Oh, my goodness, how shocking. And they got 3 conservative Supreme Court justices as a result. Rules get changed around here all of the time. And maybe, just maybe, we might want to change the rules in order to save American democracy. Now, let me conclude by saying this, and I don't know if any of my other colleagues have made this point, but I will. I regard it as a very sad day for our country, and I mean this very sincerely, that not one Republican in this body is prepared to vote for this bill. Now, I understand why that is the case. I am in politics. I got it. I know who the leader of their party is. But this I do not understand. I can understand Republicans, but